Guys, welcome back to HPL. We're at the PvP Live Studios here in Frisco, Texas. I am Nathan Dax Admirable Zamora with the Tannen Grace. This match has been back and forth so far. They've been switching up their strategies. It's now tied at two games apiece. One of these guys is going to be getting a win here, and the other one, that's a sore loss to be taken because it's going to be their third one.
Yeah, we talked about it's going to be their third one going in. You're either going 0-3 on Caldi side or 1-3 on ECOP side, and they're going to have the whole weekend to stew on it, all Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Not somewhere I'd want to be if I was one of these players.
Yeah, I am very glad that I am not one of the participants in that match. That's not the position they want to be in, but they're going to have to fight through it and make sure they give it their all if they're going to want to get this win.
You know, I've been really impressed this matchup by Caldi. He's definitely switched it up a lot. You've seen him play some Druid decks. It's not really something we would consider him playing in his first couple of matches, but you're seeing him do it very well here in this match.
Yeah, hasn't historically played a lot of Druid in his career. You know, he definitely has some games played with it, but love to see him changing up and going for a more powerful strategy. Guys, get hyped because Game 5 is underway, and whoever wins this one is taking the match.
And it all comes down to this, and we are seeing Druid, but from ECOP this time. And you know what? Caldi's going to give ECOP a little bit of his own medicine with a Warlock deck.
Yeah, going back to control, I mean, this is the situation I think that I would have liked to see Caldi avoid. He's been having success with his other strategies, and now he's fallen back and gone with something that's a little bit more of a control style. So we already saw Ragnaros in ECOP's opening hand. I think ECOP's the kind of player who will want to play big game hunters. I think there's a possibility he even plays maybe 2 big game hunters, but that's a Harrison Jones in his hand, so I think it'd be unlikely now to see 2 of them at that point.
And he does have turn 1 Shade of Nexramas if he wants it. This is an interesting spot here. How do you feel this matchup goes, Nathan?
It really depends on how the Druid ends up curving out. In this spot, he could play turn 1 Shade next Ramus, but I would really much rather see turn 2 Pilot Shredder
yeah.
and then keep his curve on point with turn 3 Shade next Ramus. Yeah. Then if he draws something like the other Pilot Shredder or a Keeper of the Grove afterwards, he still has a turn 4 play rolling into it and can still even utilize his Wild Growth on turn 4 to accelerate him to his 6 and 7 drops that he can potentially draw afterwards. So I love that he was patient with this Innervate.
Yeah, that's the point I was trying to get at. Using this Innervate on turn 1, it seems really, you know, sexy and flashy getting the shade out on turn 1, but it's actually better just to wait a turn and curve out more correctly.
Yeah. Oh gosh, a Mana Wraith falls down for ECOP too. This is going to prevent him from playing the Shade of Nexramas, but you know, at the same time, this isn't a bad drop for him because this will prevent Caldi from playing those massive 4 drops that Handlock wants to be playing on turn 4.
And you see 2 Ironbeak Owls already in Caldi's hand. So they're going to be able to get, they're going to be able to take care of a lot of the minions that ECOP has, like these 2 Druid Calls and the Shade if he ever gets them a chance to get the Ironbeak Owls and play against them.
Yeah, this is actually like a really interesting spot now for ECOP. I mean, outside of a Hellfire draw, there's not much Caldi can do to keep this board in check. I mean, he doesn't have a 4-drop as it stands, so you know, kind of a good thing for him almost in this regard, because now he can use Dark Bomb and use his hero power afterwards, but he's taking a lot of damage at this point, and ECOP's hand is not short on the amount of damage he can deliver coming into turn 5 and turn 6.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be able to, if he wants to, he's able to Dark Bomb this Zombie Chow, gain some of the 5 life, gain 5 life back, and then turn 2 of it into a card here. But I think he's going to, yeah, I was going to say, drawing a card first seems correct, but man, this Mana Wraith is causing all kinds of problems in this match for both players.
Yeah, ECOP really needs a 4-drop in this spot now, or maybe another Innervate. Force of Nature's not enough, and he actually, this Mana Wraith is coming back to haunt him at this point. It is no 5-drop in sight for ECOP right now, and this is the nightmare turn for Druid. Turn 5 hero power, and nothing.
Yeah, he's going to float a lot of mana here this turn. He's thinking about unveiling this Shade or not. He's already seen some Dark Bombs out of Caldi, so he's probably going through, you know, what are the chances that it dies to something like a Hellfire here this turn, or, you know, a Shadow Flame, things like that. And I have to believe he's going to unveil it here.
Yeah, I love that he's unveiling the Shade here at this point, because of the way that his hand is panning out, he's not going to have the option to keep strict control over the board. He's going to have to focus on damage here. So, you know, potential for him to get very punished because Caldi's holding on to 2 copies of Molten Giant right now, but ECOP doesn't really have a plan otherwise.
Yeah, it looks like Caldi is going to play a Sludge Belcher here. He'd have to use the coin to do so.
I mean, this is kind of, again, this Mana Wraith really spelling a lot of trouble here for Caldi. And at this point, the damage I feel like has been done to ECOP as far as the Mana Wraith is concerned. So, you know, there is considerations for, I think, Ironbeak Owling the Mana Wraith, but at the same time, shutting off a Shade, I mean, that's such a good deal for you.
Yeah, if you shut off the Shade, it's actually pretty good. It keeps it from growing ever for the rest of the turns. Caldi's going to take his time here this turn. He's got a lot of options, and he's going to end up going with the defensive one in Sludge Belcher.
Yeah, I think the Sludge Belcher is, you know, sort of an interesting play moving forward here. This is a spot, I think, where ECOP is very likely to sacrifice the Mana Wraith, but at the same time, you know, it's been obviously putting Caldi off a little bit too, so maybe you want to just keep it around. Your mana's kind of flowing fine at this point.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting turn to see how he utilizes his 6 mana here and when he kills this Mana Wraith off, or if he leaves it alone and keeps it in play and has to make Caldi kill it off. So this Mana Wraith, as you said, it's just been gumming up all the works here in this game, and these piloted shredders make for some very interesting games sometimes. We've seen some interesting Doomsayers come off of him the last couple of
I think
games.
it was 2 Doomsayers we saw in
the same
yesterday's
day.
matches.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't happen very often. And this Sludge Belcher really kind of throwing a wrench in things too. I mean, ECOP does not have an efficient way to attack through this Sludge Belcher. This may be a turn where he decides that Druid of the Claw and Taunt is good enough. If he attacks the Mana Wraith, though, I have to suspect he intends to push through.
Yeah, if he takes the Mana Wraith, you have to believe he's going to intend to push through, but he's probably weighing his options here on, if he taunts up, he gets to keep the Mana Wraith around for a turn on against Kaldi during his turn, and then he can get rid of it on his own turn and get, that unlock of that mana.
Yeah. Plus, he gets to keep his Shade around, too. The Shade will stay healthy and be able to check the Sludge Belcher next turn. So ECOP running out of time here. It looks like he's going to taunt anyway. At this point, I'd be terrified if he chose to charge with that little bit of time left. Whoa, Jiraxxus gets drawn. There's a Harrison Jones in ECOP's hand. There is a potential for the Harrison Jones on the Jiraxxus.
That's always just the best feeling ever.
This is not too bad of a play either. I mean, at this point, the Sylvanas is almost always going to be getting value one way or the other. So at this point, it's a matter of whether or not ECOP can continue to push damage or if he feels like he's got enough on board. And I think with Dr. Boom in his hand, he's just going to take the risk and try to run through this game.
Yeah, he's going to try to just push through as much damage as he can here, but you see Kaldi has a lot of stuff behind this. He's got 2 Shadow Flames going along this and Emperor with Norse on. He's got a ton of game going forward.
Yeah, so even going to put the Druid of the Claw at risk. I like this instead of putting the Shade into Mortal Coil range. Wow, speak of Mortal Coil, by the way, this is one of the reasons why he didn't want it to be in the range of this. And now Kaldi, I mean, Shadow Flame looks like a beautiful spot to use it here. But, is that going to be enough? Is that what he wants to do? He's down to 14. He has to start thinking about Force Nature Savage Roar. I guarantee you that's going through his head.
Yeah, Kaldi has to tread very lightly here. You're getting to this turn, 7, 8, and 9s out of Druid. We've talked about these are the scary turns. They have Force of Nature. They have Savage Roar. These cards can kill you from out of nowhere. Yeah,
just going to go with the Mortal Coil first. Get a little bit more information, see what he needs to do moving forward. Also, the other thing, too, is
that's big that hits Sylvanas now because he can trade into this Druid of the Claw and get the, if he wants to, or he can just Shadow Flame, get 5 damage across, and get this Dr. Boom.
Honestly, I think he wants this Boombot to hit his face for 3 here. So that way he can play both copies of Molten Giant.
Oh, and he gets pretty lucky with with that Boombot.
And it does, but again, this is a dangerous situation for him. He doesn't have a way to taunt up in this position, and he's going into 8 mana next turn. He doesn't have enough damage to threaten lethal. This is a spot where ECOP can just push for damage and then hope that Kaldi doesn't have a way to taunt or heal.
Yeah, he can definitely put. Ooh, he's gonna have Ancient Allure here. I think you have to push for damage here and try to win.
Well, I think the Ancient Allure is fine. He's gonna get 3 card draws. So going into the turn after that, if he draws something like Swipe, he's totally fine with it, I think. And at the same time, there's lots of draws that he could potentially pick up. The fact that he's drawing, this may show that he's got stuff like Big Game Hunter in his deck and he wants to get those done. But I have to believe that when you're facing down this much damage, that pushing for it and trying to end this game could be enough.
And he draws Savage Roar, wow.
But he doesn't have enough mana to use it just yet. And Kaldi picks up Sludge Belcher behind this. So ECOP, if he doesn't die in the next 2 turns here, can silence the Sludge Belcher and go from there. But this has got to be a little bit of an uncomfortable position for ECOP. I mean, look at how much damage he's facing.
Yeah, did you see the relief on Kaldi's face when he drew that Sludge Belcher? It was very opposite of the look that ECOP had on his face the turn 4. He rolled his eyes very, very big after that giant turn from Kaldi.
Yep, so we're gonna go. We had a little bit of a bug here. We're gonna be sticking with Kaldi's point of view. So I mean, this is the turn for ECOP. I don't know how he's got to get out of this game, but I have to believe Big Game Hunter is one of the only ways.
Sylvanas not gonna do it. It's not gonna be good enough.
Yeah, he's just facing down too much damage. I mean, he can taunt up, but I don't think that keeps him alive.
Yeah, he was going to be able to Force of Nature Savage Roar this turn and kill Kaldi, but that top deck Sludge Belcher looks like it's going to put him in just enough of a defensive spot to get the win.
Yeah, he's got 14 damage, but he can't divide it up exactly the way he wants it to, so he has to overkill the Sludge Belcher, and then even if he could just divide it the way he wants, he'd still be points short on Kaldi's life total, and just like that, man, 2 Molten Giants. That is no joke. That's the kind of swing on the board that Kaldi wanted to be hunting for. So, a little bit of a different way to go about this, but I love what he's been doing here.
Looks like, yeah, ECOP has a couple ways to not be dead on board, right? If he keepers the Owl, plays the Druid of the Claw with Taunt,
well,
then...
Yeah, he's got ways from his perspective to live, but Kaldi's got Ironbeak Owl in his hand,
but you can't just assume that he has Ironbeak Owl. You have to at least
sure,
play it out
you have to try to
win.
play it out. So, I mean, silence on the Sludge Belcher, then Druid of the Claw in taunt mode is, that's the only way that he could possibly stay alive in this position. And then also set himself up in a position to win. but it's just not going to be enough. Kaldi has all the tools he needs to push through for damage here, and once again, 2 Molten Giants is too much to deal with.
And the second Iron Beak Owl as
Yeah,
well. I mean, he already
16
saw
points of
one.
damage.
Yeah, he already saw one in play. So I mean, you have to make this play and just hope that there's no second silence or second removal spell out of Kaldi that can get through your Druid's Claw here, and that you just have a chance to win. And
Yeah.
he's actually just going to do it this way.
Yeah, I mean, the Shadow Flame gets the job done just enough. I think he just wants the extra minion kills here. You know,
Just
wants,
padding those
he wants
stats,
to use
Kaldi.
as much of his mana as he can. So excellent series from Kaldi here, swapping up his strategies at every point of the way. I still think that Handlock was a little bit dangerous in that series, but he kept his cool in that one, didn't panic when he was under the pressure, and gets the win here against ECOP because of those 2 Molten Giants.
Yeah, and that top deck of Sludge Belcher, wow, what a draw. Just you saw the relief on him. I mean, he practically just wiped his brow. He's like, oh, thank God, you know, I got the Sludge Belcher. I'm not dead to combo now going into turn 9. And you saw that ECOP actually had it. So ECOP falls to 1 and 3, and Kaldi gets in the winner's circle.
Yeah, Kaldi still had plenty of draws there too. It's not only Sludge Belcher, you know, he could
course.
have drawn Sun Fury Protector, Defender of Argus, Antique Healbot, plenty of ways for him to keep his life total out of the danger situation. So not like the luckiest of draws in the world, but certainly he needs to pick it up. But when you're getting that deep into your deck because of hero powers, you're going to pick up the right cards.
Yeah, he picked up the right cards and picked up the win. When we come back, we're going to have Kaldi on the line and be able to talk to him about this entire crazy match, why he queued up Druid so much, why he played Handlock in the last, you know, what were his thoughts? Why did he play the decks he did? And if you want to find out what decks he played and what were in them, go to pvplive.net. And you can follow along with Kaldi, all his career statistics, all of his decks, and anything about Hearthstone that you want to know about any player in the world, guys. We're going to be back with that interview in just a moment. You're watching Hearthstone on PvP Live.